Number 10. Rebecca Schaeffer. On July 18, 1989, 19-year-old Robert John Bardo shot and killed Schaeffer at her home in West Hollywood. At the time of her death, she had been stalked by Bardo for 3 years. He had previously been obsessed with child peace activist Samantha Smith, who died in a plane crash in 1985. He then wrote numerous letters to Schaeffer, one of which she answered. In 1987, he traveled to Los Angeles hoping to meet with Schaeffer on the set of My Sister Sam. But Warner Brothers. Security turned him away. He returned a month later armed with a knife. But security guards again prevented him from gaining access. Bardo watched Schaeffer in the black comedy film Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills in 1989, in which she appeared in bed with another actor. He became enraged by the scene, apparently out of jealousy, and decided that Schaeffer should be punished for becoming another Hollywood whore. Arthur Richard Jackson had stalked and stabbed actress Teresa Saldana in 1982, and Bardo learned that Jackson had used a private investigator to obtain Saldana's address. Bardo then paid a detective agency in Tucson $250 to find Schaeffer's home address in California's Department of Motor Vehicles records. With the help of his brother, he acquired a Ruger GP 100.357 revolver. Bardo traveled to Los Angeles a third time and roamed the neighborhood where Schaeffer lived, asking people if she actually lived there. Once he was certain that the address was correct, he rang the doorbell. Schaeffer was preparing for an audition for The Godfather Part 3 and was expecting a script to be delivered, so she answered the door. Bardo showed her a letter and autograph that she had previously sent him. After a short conversation, she asked him not to come to her home again. He went to a diner nearby and had breakfast. Tien returned to her apartment an hour later. She answered the door with a cold look on her face, Bardo later said. He pulled out the handgun and shot her in the chest at point-blank range in the doorway of her apartment building. According to Bardo, she collapsed, repeating, "Why? Why?" Schaeffer was rushed to the emergency room of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead 30 minutes after her arrival. Number 9. Elvis Presley. Presley's name, image, and voice are recognized around the world. He has inspired a legion of impersonators. In polls and surveys, he is recognized as one of the most important popular music artists and influential Americans. On August 16, 1977, Presley was scheduled on an evening flight out of Memphis to Portland, Maine, to begin another tour. That afternoon, his fiancée, Ginger, Alden, discovered him unresponsive on the bathroom floor of his Graceland mansion. Attempts to revive him failed, and he was pronounced dead at Baptist Memorial Hospital at 3:30 p.m. He was 42. Number 8. River Phoenix. He was known as a teen actor before taking on leading roles in critically acclaimed films and becoming one of the preeminent acting talents of his generation. Phoenix's numerous accolades include the Volpe Cup and the Independent Spirit Award, as well as nominations for an Academy Award and Golden Globe Award. On the evening of October 13, 1993, Phoenix arrived with his girlfriend Samantha Mathis, his brother Joaquin, and sister Rain at the Viper Room, a Hollywood nightclub, partly owned by Johnny Depp. Phoenix was to perform with the band P, which featured Phoenix's friends Flea and John, Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jimmy Haynes of the Butthole Surfers, Al Jurgensen of Ministry, and Depp. According to Bob Forrest, during the performance by P, Phoenix tapped Forrest on the shoulder to tell him he was not feeling well and that he thought he had overdosed. Forrest said to Phoenix that he did not think that he was overdosing because he could stand and talk. Nonetheless, he offered to take Phoenix home, but the latter declined, saying he was feeling better. A few moments later, Forrest said that a commotion erupted in the club, and he went outside to find Mathis screaming as her boyfriend was lying on the sidewalk, having convulsions. Unable to determine whether his older brother was breathing, Joaquin called 911. Rain proceeded to give her brother mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. According to Jibby Haynes, the band was performing their song, Michael Stipe, while Phoenix was outside the venue having seizures on the sidewalk. When the news filtered through the club, Flea left the stage and rushed outside. By that time, paramedics had arrived on the scene and found Phoenix in apparent cardiac arrest. Flea accompanied him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, but attempts to resuscitate Phoenix at the hospital were unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead at 1:51 a.m. PST on the morning of October 31, 1993. At the age of 23, forensic examination found cocaine and heroin, opiates, marijuana, cannabinoids, benzodiazepine and propoxyphene. Number 7. Selena Quintanilla. Selena and Saldivar began arguing, which other motel guests overheard. Selena told Saldivar she could no longer be trusted, and demanded the return of her financial papers. Selena then dumped Saldivar's satchel containing bank statements onto the bed and saw the revolver. At 11:48 a.m., Saldivar aimed her revolver at Selena as she attempted to flee and fired a bullet, hitting her lower right shoulder and causing her to bleed profusely. Trinidad Espinoza, the motel's maintenance man, reported hearing a loud bang, which he likened to a car backfiring. Selena, bleeding profusely from her external wound, ran towards the lobby, leaving a trail of blood 392 feet long. She was seen clutching her chest, screaming, "Help me! Help me! I've been shot." Saldivar chased after her, raising the revolver and calling her a bitch. According to motel staff, Saldivar seemed calm and went back in her room after chasing Selena. According to Carlos Morales, who was waiting outside the motel, he heard screaming and saw Selena running towards him. She grabbed Morales and screamed, "They'll shoot me again." Motel staff noticed the singer's clothes were soaked in blood. When she approached the lobby, Selena fell to the floor at 11:49 a.m. as Hotel General Manager Barbara Schultz summoned emergency services. The singer told the staff, "Lock the door. She shoot me again." She identified Saldivar as her assailant and gave the number of the room where she had been shot. Selena was mortally wounded and terrified when she identified Saldivar, having said her last words, "Yolanda, room 158. Her condition began to deteriorate rapidly as motel staff attended to her. Motel sales manager Ruben Delian tried talking to Selena, but discovered she was beginning to lose consciousness. He said she was moaning and moving less often. He noticed Selena's eyes had rolled back and that she went limp. She was pronounced dead at 1:05 p.m. at age 23 from blood loss and cardiac arrest. Number 6. Aaliyah. On August 25, 2001, at 6:50 p.m. EDT, Aaliyah and some employees of her record company boarded a twin-engine Cessna 402 light aircraft at the Marsh Harbor Airport in Abaco Islands, the Bahamas, to travel to Opa-locka Airport in Florida. After they completed filming the video for Rock the Boat, they had a flight scheduled the next day. But with filming finishing early, Aaliyah and her entourage were eager to return to the US and decided to leave immediately. The designated airplane was smaller than the Cessna 404, on which they had originally arrived, but the whole party and all the equipment were accommodated on board. The plane crashed and caught fire shortly after takeoff, about 200 feet from the end of the runway. Number 5. Robin Williams. Williams died in his Paradise Cay, California, home on August 11, 2014. His primary cause of death was declared as suicide by hanging amid Lewy body dementia and other associated factors, describing the disease as the terrorist inside my husband's brain. Schneider said that, however you look at it, the presence of Lewy bodies took his life, referring to his previous diagnosis of Parkinson's. She noted how we as a culture don't have the vocabulary to discuss brain disease in the way we do about depression. Depression is a symptom of LBD, and it's not about psychology. It's rooted in neurology. His brain was falling apart. Medical experts had earlier struggled to determine a cause, and had eventually diagnosed him with Parkinson's disease. Number 4. Gary Coleman. On May 26, 2010, Coleman was admitted to Utah Valley Regional Medical Center in Provo, Utah, in critical condition after falling at his Santa Quin home and hitting his head, possibly after another seizure, and experiencing an epidural hematoma. According to a hospital spokesman, Coleman was conscious and lucid the next morning, but his condition subsequently worsened. By mid-afternoon on May 27th, he was unconscious and on life support. He died at 12:05 p.m. MDT on May 28, 2010, at age 42. Number 3. Diana, Princess of Wales. Diana died on the 31st of August 1997, aged 36, as a result of injuries sustained in a car crash in the Pont de l'Arme tunnel in Paris while her driver was fleeing the paparazzi. She was taken to Piti-Salpêtrière Hospital around 2 a.m. and was pronounced dead at approximately 4 a.m. The crash also claimed the lives her companion Dodi Fade and their driver, Henry Paul, who was also acting security manager of the Hotel Ritz Paris. Trevor Rees-Jones, a bodyguard employed by Dodi's father, survived with a serious head injury. Number 2. Brittany Murphy. At 8 a.m. on December 20th, 2009, the Los Angeles Fire Department responded to a medical request at the Los Angeles home Murphy and Monjack shared. She had apparently collapsed in a bathroom. Firefighters attempted to resuscitate Murphy on the scene. She was transported to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where she died at 10:05 a.m. after going into cardiac arrest. Number 1. Michael Jackson. Jackson is one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with estimated sales of over 500 million records. He holds a joint record for a male solo artist with 13 Billboard Hot 100 number 1 singles and is the only artist to have a top 10 single in 6 decades. One of the most awarded music artists in history. On June 25, 2009, less than 3 weeks before his concert residency was due to begin in London, with all concerts sold out, Jackson died from cardiac arrest, caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose. Conrad Murray, his personal physician, had given Jackson various medications to help him sleep at his rented mansion in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles. Paramedics received a 911 call at 12:21 p.m. and arrived at the property 4 minutes later. Jackson was not breathing and CPR was performed. Resuscitation efforts continued en route to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, and for more than an hour after Jackson's arrival, but were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced dead at 2:26 p.m. Murray had administered propofol, lorazepam, and midazolam. Jackson's death was caused by a propofol overdose.